Fáiltear Nash Grí Shrahadó de Comhrá Le Tomás, I gcór le EIRGRID. Be mé sí le daoine cáiliúil ón Cumann Lú Clascail agus tá súlagam go minic sibh tainneas.
I remember saying to him, "This is some trip, Sean Murray. This is unbelievable." He says, "It's not a trip, Muggsy. It's a tour." And I was like, "No, but you know what I mean?" He says, "No, I don't."
So proud there again, D&G. Who're they again, D&G? Dalshin Cabana. Yeah, to LNG anyway. Larry and Galvin anyway. That's the brand name anyway.
This season, the show is brought to you by EIRGRID. They're the proud sponsors of the Under-20 All-Ireland Football Championship. Not only is EIRGRID delivering a cleaner energy future for Ireland, they are invested in development of our most promising GA players and the managers that help them to shine. Hello, Tomás Ó'Sé here, and we're back for another season, Season 4 of Comhrá Le Tomás. I'm delighted to be joined by Mike Frank Russell, one of the most clinical and gifted corner forwards Kerry ever had. I'd also like to mention EIRGRID. They're on board again. They're an official timing partner of the GA, and we're delighted to have them involved with ourselves. So, Mike Frank, I was just thinking, as I was thinking before, coming down the road there, we aren't a team. Do you know the way a team plays for so long and they make bonds and they make friendships? We weren't really a team who get together that often afterwards. When it finished, and that was it, wasn't it? So I wouldn't come across you that often now, and it'd be the same with a lot of fellas. I haven't come across. I hear of other football teams, and they'd have golf tours and they'd have get-togethers and all that. We weren't a team like that, were we?
It's funny, I had the same thing into my head today, Tomás. You might meet lads now, maybe at funerals or, things like that. Or, I met one or two lads at the Mayo game the last day. But, we probably lived in each other's pockets for 15, 16 years. Because your career started with minor, I'd say, with 94, 95, wasn't it?
It was,
and maybe finished, you got a few more years out of it. I didn't, but there was 15, 16 years we probably met each other 3 or 4 times a week, and now we don't meet each other at all. But I suppose, look, life takes over, and people build houses, they get married, they have kids, life gets busier, but it's a pity, I suppose. But for such a successful team, Tomás, it's a pity. But I suppose, look, we had the reunion with the 97 team last year. We were young lads in that, but hopefully a few more of those come up now in the next few years,
Yeah, it's not as if we weren't pally or anything, because when the crack was good, the crack was very good, Mike, wasn't it?
It was.
And good football, but we enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, we had great times. We had a great team that time, Tomás. But I was just thinking, when you rang me last day to come on, straight away you think of the good days, and we had bad days too. But you kind of remember the days where we could have won as well, and we left a few things behind us. They're on about the great Dublin team there of the last decade, but apart from only for say Tyrone coming along, right, we could have went in 6, 7, 8 years in a row possibly. We were that good. I think we were. What we left behind us probably was a bit criminal too. We won a lot, but we left some big days after us as well.
Anytime I say that to people, like, they don't have too much pity now for me when I actually say
no.
But we lost an awful amount. There's no doubt about that. I read an article a couple of years ago, Freddie. You had an article in the paper, and you basically said that you're consumed by football and you don't, like a lot of us. I play a bit of golf, and a good few of the lads, Dara plays a bit of it, Gucci play a bit of it. You're still heavily involved with Long Rangers at underage, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I was talking to the experienced coach there a few years ago, and he was saying to get involved in the coaching, Tomás, he said to go and get involved in underage first, because he could make your mistakes there, because you see lads maybe going straight into senior, and it's a massive jump straight away. Like, I know you were involved with Glenmire and the minors there before you, which was it's good. So I was over the minors up to last year, the last 3 years with Keane Evans, and you learn an awful lot. And I was manager of the team with Keane, but I kind of learned then I'm a better coach than a manager. So I think I'd like to go down that more. So with the actual managing team, I prefer to be out on the field doing the drills and teaching them the skills of the game. And our underage has been strong in our Rangers the last couple of years. So we're coming again. They're top of Division 2 in the seniors, and I was involved with 1 or 2 development squads for a few years. So I was picking up a bit of experience, but I think I'd probably prefer the coaching route than manager, because I think you're dealing with, look, you may have had the experience to out during 3-1s and stuff with Kerry. You would first 10, you're dealing with a lot more than just on, like, you're dealing with management, you're dealing with outside stuff and pitches and things like that. But
Yeah.
to me, I think it's all about on the field, the coaching, for me anyway, personally,
You're a fierce man, Franny. Your skill set was always deadly. If there was ever a fella to bury a ball, and I'm talking like Clifford there, he did it in the league against Armagh, I think, in Tralee, where there was only one tiny small gap in the corner. You could do it. You did it against Armagh in the semi way back. Do you think that at underage now, when you're teaching, you see it at schools level, you see it at club level, you see it on underage level? Do you think there's a small bit that we're deviating a small bit away from the basic skills with young fellas, a small bit?
I do, Tomas. Look, I was just reading about Ó'Sé McConville during the week, and I suppose you're talking about inter-county games now at the moment. But going back to the young lads, I suppose
Yeah.
it is a different game. But that's why I like being involved in underage at the moment, because I try to keep it simple. I'm not trying to bring in sweepers and things like that, because I think once they get to senior, they're going to be consumed by that anyway. Just let them, I'm involved in under 10 girls at the moment, my daughter this year as well, and it's the skills. Keep rather the skills. I suppose in the county with Kerry, that's what we're trying to implement. But yeah, I do. I like it. You were on about the skills and stuff. To me, it was a big part of my game. Starting out now, I don't know what I'd made it because I wasn't the biggest guy. But are they picking athletes? No. But I suppose, look, you have to have a happy medium. But it's a different game now, especially at senior level. But I think the underage, you're keeping it more simple.
I remember back in our day, the purists.
Yeah.
And if you're talking, I thought the noughties was a good enough decade of football. You had Tyrone emerging, you had Galway
Yeah.
were still going, Meath were going, you had
Galway.
Armagh.
Cork had a good team that time, yeah.
Cork had a very good team. But I do remember that time, and I thought the quality of football to watch that time was actually quite good. But I remember Mick O'Connell giving out that he'd hate to play the type of football that we were playing at the time, that it was kind of
I'd say, yeah,
altogether. I'd
yeah.
say he's actually
I,
going
he
parabolic
must
at the
he
moment.
must be sick now.
He must be absolutely
Yeah.
parabolic at the moment.
No,
What do you think, Franny, of the football right now?
look, and I would go to every game. Like I'd watch. Love sitting down watching Sunday game and Sunday watching the matches. But at the moment now, there's a lot of games coming up, and if I miss a game, no, I'm not saying, oh damn, I missed that game, because there's, even I was inside the Mayo game in Killarney recently, and this, they're dropping back the main, and you're probing and opening, don't bring it into tackle, switch the other wing, and you could hear people talking in the crowd like, I swear you're people just for saying they're paying €20 to go in. I like, yeah, I don't like it, but I understand why coaches are doing it now. But look, to give you an honest answer, do I like it? I don't. I think you might agree with me, but I still think the top teams have the right balance between, because look, Kerry can play defensive too, so can the top teams. But I don't like it. I don't know what I like enjoying being inside the full forward nowadays. I think wing half back would be the place to play, because you're going up the field. There's no one on you. If you get a pocket of space, you might have a chance for a score. That's probably me talking. Maybe is probably the purist, I suppose. But everyone has their own opinion, But
I do think that the long range kicking is something that's going to come into it, because I do think I was watching the last day.
But are they practicing them, Tomas? Like you say, Clifford, but are you seeing a lot of, say, 40, maybe Shane McGuigan now, or like a lot of his work the shot, get into the scoring zone? It's
Well, I tell you, I was thinking about this, Franny, and okay, the defensive stuff came in, right? Let's say Donegal won in Northern Ireland, and everybody started practicing this defensive stuff, and it took teams a while to get to grips with it, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, I remember saying it at the time, we were blessed with the fact that Dublin had such a good team at the time, because they didn't fear anything, and they bait what was there. They showed teams how
I enjoyed
to
watching Dublin, yeah.
Yeah, but right now I'm looking at it, right? And the way the defensive stuff is there's no team at the moment good enough or whatever to actually completely show us a different way, like, because Dublin would beat a defensive team, but they would
Croke
also
Park, possibly,
step up.
yeah.
They play against Kerry and they go more man to man. They'd still play football. But Dublin were kind of the saviours at the time, because they were able to show everybody else how to beat this
How to
blank
beat,
defense.
they were beating Tyrone,
But there's not much now. Franny, there's not much difference in terms of you throw on any game over the weekend, and just as you said, the football would be the same play. Defenders back, working it
Yeah,
over and back, punching a
working it.
hole,
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
the gap, and then over the bar. It's only in
yeah.
the last quarter of an hour when they have to chase it that
When
it'll
you have to come
open up
out,
a
yeah,
small bit.
yeah.
You know?
Even the Ulster final, like it was so incredible. But then in the end, someone had to go for it, and
Mm.
that's who you kind of sit up. Okay, who's going to go for it here now? You know.
Yeah.
But and look, it's gone down to club level. I see it there, but I don't like it. But I can understand. Look, you were involved the county this year. It's cutthroat at that level. Results business, you know. But that's why I'm looking forward to going into the Kerry Minor again now tomorrow night in Tralee because I
Yeah.
just think there's still that little bit of innocent, you know.
Yeah.
But
Even at
because
20s, Franny, there
yeah, how
wasn't.
did you what you like? That was a good game in the Munster final against Cork. Now
Yeah.
you know.
I think that at senior level, 90%. I mean, for a change last week, we were given out to Mickey Hart that he set up normally. That's what we were doing last
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
he
We
was
can't win.
he can't win. He
Yeah,
set up
yeah,
normally, and we were given out,
yeah,
and he got an awful hosing. So nearly
yeah,
every single team, and they're all conditioned well now. They're all strong teams.
yeah,
They're all
yeah,
playing the same way, but at underage level, speed and directness
yeah,
and
yeah.
kicking the
And they have
ball
that bit.
quickly.
They have that bit innocent too. They want to kind of come out, you know.
Yeah,
But
it is. It's huge.
um, I
Come
was
here.
reading an. I was reading our. Sorry, Tomas, I could have caught you there. I was reading um, the full forward for Fermanagh. He came out recently. What's his name?
Corrigan.
Uh, oh, is this what? It's gone from my head now. Sorry, but he was saying if you can get a good club player now into serious condition, and he could get a chance to get into a county team. It's you know,
Yeah.
and if he's does you know, whereas it's gone to that level now where I'm on about a serious athlete now where conditioner he can go and sit into the system and fit it and it'll work for them, you know.
Yeah, I know
Um,
that any fella could do the role, but you still need, and the top teams that will
the
win it
top
out,
teams, yeah, yeah.
they'll have to have the Cliffords. Like, is what you make of Clifford, Franny, and you've watched him. You watched him at club level. You've watched him at county level. How would you rate him?
Oh, he's like Tomas, you know, he's frightening really, but like he has the physique as well. Like you know, he'll mix it. If you want to rough him up, he'll mix it that way too. He's
Yeah,
able to look after himself. You know, I see fellas now they don't bother trying to rough it up for him because they know he's able to just brush them off. That's what's most impressive with him. But I've met him once or twice now in Killarney, and you know he's such an impressive guy as well. He's so down to earth. He does no such thing of getting carried away or anything like that. It's just in him. You know,
yeah.
very impressive. Yeah, I have to admit. And
And
the
he
frightening
always
thing,
shows up on the
he
big
always
games.
shows up, and the frightening thing, he's going to get, you know, he possibly could get better, you know. But it's we're lucky to have him. My God,
Oh,
you know.
lucky to have him. Uh, I was looking back, Franny, your haul of medals, right? You have club at county level, at Munster level, at All Ireland. You have inter-county, you have minor, under 21 senior. You have a schools All Ireland. You've Sigerson. Have you Railway Cup?
That's the only one I don't have, Tomas. Played in the final, all right.
Christ, I actually have one. And it was nearly gone. The competition was nearly gone. Of all those medals, Franny, is there one in particular that you'd say, yeah, is the All Ireland Club, because I played in one and I lost one, is the All Ireland Club one that you say, right, yeah,
You know, we touched it there earlier, Tomas, medals, and you know, I don't get it. You know, I don't talk about it, or you know, even the Armagh game we lost 2002. There, I don't know, they're the ones
yeah,
you remember, but like I lost an awful lot of things with the club, though. You know, things like that, and but no, in particular, the All Ireland club. I was quite young. I was just out of minor, so maybe I didn't appreciate it at the time. But my God, looking back now, it's such a privilege to have it.
huge,
You know, we'd 4 Kerry minors that year, but we weren't getting on the senior Lone Rangers team. We were on the panel for the final. But my God, you didn't think you weren't going to get back there. You know. But
yeah.
it's fabulous to have something like that because they're the guys you know yourself that they're when you started and they're when you finished. You know. But your
You had a
first All
fierce
Ireland,
group of young
sorry,
fellas, Franny, didn't you? Yourself, Pa Sullivan, John
I'd say,
Sheehan.
yeah, you were with us that year. We were minors '95. You were there
Yeah,
that year as well. So we'd 5 Kerry minors, and look, it goes in cycles. But then the last 10 years it went down again. But hopefully our club is coming again. Look, the same with the Gaeltacht, there's cycles.
Yeah.
But
I remember we played in 96, actually it was. We played a minor. You weren't a minor in 96.
no, you
We
would Owen
played in
O'Connell.
Cardigan. John Lynch played
Oh, yeah,
midfield.
Owen O'Connell, I'd say, was it?
Yeah, John
Yeah,
Lynch played
you were
midfield.
mine.
He was the only man. I looked around halfway through the half, and he was gone. I was saying, where's John? Like in the middle of the match, John was gone for a piss into the dressing room.
That's right. I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a Kerry minor game, wasn't it?
Was yeah, middle of the
I think
match, he went for the Jacks.
he was the captain. All. If it happened nowadays, I probably wouldn't, because
Probably wouldn't.
you'd be
Did you
dropped
ever
off the
play
panel.
Aussie rules, Franny?
I did. Well, I went on the trip, but I didn't get much game time. 2001.
2001, yeah.
Dara was there. Seamus Moynihan, Johnny Crowley, and Ty
Good
Kennelly.
tourists.
Sorry.
Good tourists, the boys. Dara be a good tourist. You wouldn't
Yeah.
get
It was
too
like
homesick.
out of the four of them, I was the smallest and lightest, but I had a good year with Kerry the year before, so probably got picked in the back of that, but different game. I wasn't cut out for it, but look, you say you got that time. I think I remember talking to Gooch another time about it as well. I think he went the following year or something, but it was just stay out of the tackle is the main thing, But and look at you get back on the plane to Ireland again and be able to play for Kerry the following year. But still a privilege to get a chance to put on the Irish jersey, obviously. But
Yeah.
different game.
Come home without no broken bones. Like I went on that tour in 2005 with Gooch, and
Yeah, sorry.
Gooch was the only man that I ever saw that got actually concussed without actually getting hit. Yeah, but he couldn't go back
Yeah,
on.
but look,
He couldn't go back on
once he got back safe to Kerry, we were fine. Do you
I
know?
know.
But yeah, that's stopped now at the moment too, isn't it? The Aussie rule, the Australian rules.
It is, yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
know. There's one part of it. I just and it's a conversation for another day. It bugs me. Like I loved seeing lads, and I saw three lads playing lately outside. Mark O'Connor, one of them, and
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to you love seeing them going well, and it's brilliant. Like it just
Yeah.
irks me sometimes the way they come in, pick the best of them, off they go, and they don't contribute to the club, or they've nothing here that they contribute in the grassroots of Ireland. Like you have soccer and you have rugby, who are everywhere around the country and investing in
Yeah.
the country. It just bugs me. I don't know, and I don't get me
100%.
wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Ty Kennelly, look, he came back. Eventually came back when he's All Ireland, but he probably robbed Kerry of his best years,
Yeah.
with us. But thank God he got to get his medal in the end. But it's and search for a country so far away as well. It's not like it's England for the soccer. You're across the water, but it's a long way away. And yeah, I suppose Kerry's lost now at the moment with Mark O'Connor as well.
Yeah. You were handy at the soccer, Franny, weren't you?
I don't know where you heard that, Tomas. That might have been around the schoolyard, but I never actually. No, Jesus, no.
You didn't play
I might have
local
tipped
stuff,
around.
no?
No, I think when we were in secondary school, we might have played a game to get out of class possibly, but it wasn't not long term. No, I suppose. Look, it was football. Yeah.
The Sigerson, Franny, at that time, how long? I know Tralee won. They won 3 or 4 on the bounce that time. Val Andrews was in charge. It was a seriously
right.
talented team.
Yeah.
Who was there when were you there for the 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Like, my God, you had a star of the team. Jim McGuinness was down there that time as well. Seamus was there. You'd pass Sullivan. Like, even you're on about some county players, but there was Kerry under 21s. It wasn't just inter-county players around the county as well. You some very good Kerry club players in there as well at the time.
Was Parkinson there that time?
I think he was another year in the following year, but I suppose he became deplaced in because it was, and Val Andrews and Pat Flanagan was a big drawing power there as well. Jeannie Farrell was obviously in college as well at the time, but they think they're back competing in the Sigerson again, but it's unlikely they'll have maybe the same array of players again at one time.
How was it? How was it that they attracted? Like you had Jim McGuinness coming from the north. You had Mark
Porty
O'Reilly.
Joyce. I hadn't even mentioned Porty Joyce. And Michael Donlan came down for a year.
Jack Turtle.
That's right. And but even Jim McGuinness to come from that far, Porty Joyce. Never. So it's a long. And I think John Casey. I wasn't there that year, no, but John Casey from Mayo was it? I think. But I suppose it was handier for the Kerry lads. It wasn't that far away, but like for the lads coming down that far, it was a big, and it became such a strong and it was no surprise at the time,
Yeah.
that they're winning so much. But
I still think it's a great competition, and I think
yeah,
the way
it's been abused though, Tomas. Yeah,
it's Jesus. Funny, I say it to fellas like they're trying to squeeze a pre-season competition, a National League, a Munster Championship, a round robin league, and then a quarter-final, semi-final into less time than we had when we played our championships. And the Sigerson is they don't get their players anymore. Funny, they don't. That time you could train away with them, could you?
yeah, you could. Yeah, absolutely, you could. And it was kind of that month of January, and then you like it was only a couple of games at that time of the year, and then you were back into the county, like. But you had first-hand experience. I think I read a comment by you earlier in the year, like they're trying to squeeze how many things into January. It's crazy, and it's the workload on the young lads must have been phenomenal. Like you're putting on Sigerson the week of McGrath Cup. Personally, I think I agree with you. I think you said the early pre-season has to go because I can't see what's it's serving at the moment. You
Yeah.
know,
The Where did you
give
win your Sigersons, Franny? Did you win one at home away? One was in Tralee, was it?
one was Tralee and one was in the north, and I wasn't there in the third year. I don't know where they won it. It might have been the north again, but it was in March. It was February and March really, but you were never like the time you had the National League was before the Christmas. You were 3 games before Christmas because it was a bit more spread out. But
Yeah.
now January, I can see it's just geez, no wonder there's so many injuries. You know.
You didn't, you're in your own career, Franny, you never got injured that much, did you?
Um, I did had the Gilmore's groin. I think Noel Kennelly had it at the time. What year was it? It was probably from a bit of overuse. All right, around that time I was playing a lot of football with the club, under 21s, being just brought into the Kerry seniors. Ray Moore did the operation for me at the time. Uh, it's a lot of it's called inflammation down the groin, and it was a serious enough operation at the time. But other than that, Tomas, touch wood, I was quite lucky. But that was the only kind of serious one. But a lot of it was some overuse from playing at a young age. But that what year was it again? It was Colin Cooper got it done as well not too long after. Noel Kennelly got it done. I think Ty Kennelly possibly got it done as well. But Ray Moran was the man doing them at the time. But the year is gone for me now. But yeah, I suppose that time I was playing a lot of football. Kerry Minor, Long Rangers were going well at the time. The seniors, John Evans was over us. The following year, then I mean we played a county final with the senior team and met your great uncle Paddy O'Shea, God rest him, and he said you're coming for National League game next Sunday, and it was all happening so quickly,
Yeah.
just out of minor and stuff. But it was different times too,
Did
your
you
National League.
find, you often hear it now, and you rarely see an under 20 making a step up, and the way you'd hear it is, Ajez, it'll take him a couple of years now to get in, that they don't make it anymore. What did you feel was the biggest difference to step? Did you have an issue stepping up to it? Franny? You didn't.
You're reading my mind, Tomas. That actually crept into my head during the week as well. It's very rare now, isn't it? Okay, you had Clifford, but sure, he wasn't left played during the 20s then.
Yeah.
But you kind of went, kind of went up to seniors as well too, didn't you? Kind of
Yeah,
within
I
maybe a
went.
year, like 19 was it? You were
But
still young,
when you
but
came
now
in,
it's not. Yeah,
you played, Franny, when you came in, like you were basically, and if
I
you were
played.
coming in, you were coming in as sub, or you were starting or whatever, you basically made a step up. Did you find any difference in terms of pace, strength, anything that time?
I suppose you're that. No, I don't. If I was doing no, I'd be blown away because the physique. No, it's different. They are more powerful. Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I remember my first game. It was October '96, and we played Meath, who were the All Ireland champions, and I went in marking Martin O'Connell of all, and he was an All Star. But but look, they won the same day, but it was a heavy pitch. But when you're that young, it's you don't have probably that fear.
Yeah.
But I would tell you no, it wouldn't happen now because you probably the physicality is different as well. Even say Martin O'Connell, for example, now and these guys, they probably had rostering in it. Even the S&C with him wouldn't have been the same. Look, we're talking about different eras, Tomas,
Yeah.
but it is rare now for say a fella to come out of minor. Colin Cooper did it, Declan O'Sullivan. I see yourself
Yeah.
came in at 19. So, um, 98 then was my first championship game. I think was it 97, 98, and I remember in Killarney, and things are going well, like, and you get a point and things are going well, but you'd seasoned players around the place, you'd Seamus Moyne, you Maurice Fitzgerald and stuff, and I remember running into Stephen O'Brien. He didn't come for me, but I ran into Stephen O'Brien, and I said, oh my God, that hurt. And that was the first time when I said, yeah, no, this is different.
Yeah.
And I often met him after and I said it to him, but it's
He has the
something like
Ireland blood.
it could take something like that where, yeah, it's Singer is different, but
Well, when you came in that time and when I came in, like, and I used to look at him in awe, really.
you were there in 97, yeah, you were, yeah.
Yeah. Eamon Breen, Liam Flaherty,
Yeah.
Seamus Moynihan.
Working the buildings, and there, Eamon Breen was a plaster, wasn't he? Like, he wasn't in the gym, but if he hit you, know about it,
If he got a hold of you. Looking back at your career outside of Kerry, Franny, was there fellas with the dark arts? Who were the fellas that you'd say, oh yeah, fucking hell, we're going to have it tough today?
Look, see, club football. I think club football. Sometimes you'd have, I think inter-county, there were so many cameras around. It's very hard to get away with a lot of stuff, to be honest.
Francie Bellew?
I hear this thing about Francie Bellew. Not once did Francie Bellew pull a dirty stroke at me. Yes, he was hard, but he was fair. But no, absolutely not. And that's the honest answer. No, never. And you hear, oh, Francie this and Francie this, to other. He didn't do, but if you're going for the ball, he was going out to get the ball, but never would I have a bad word to say about him, But,
is there any game, and I know you spoke about is there any game you'd like back? And I'm looking at the ones we lost. If you had to, like 2002 or 2002 is probably the one that always sticks in my head. I think 2011 sticks in my head as well.
Similar, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, but is that the one that sticks? Did you play the day against Meath in 2001?
I did, I did, and it's still hard to put our finger on it, because we came back the following year and we were the kick of a ball winning the All Ireland, and Meath didn't recover, so there's two sides to that too.
Yeah.
But 2002, I think about that game a lot, Tomas. I think, with full credit to Armagh too, you're not going to take that away from. But I think it's a game that we more, we did leave it after us. Let's be honest. But full credit to Armagh too. They were knocking the door with a few years too. They came close to us in 2000, so they got their bit of luck as well. And fair play to them for pushing it on, and especially in the second half. But I suppose, look, my Kerry career ended fairly abruptly, and I'm not here to make excuses or rant or using it as the platform, but I suppose I wasn't happy. I finished. You played till you were 35, Tomas, did you? 34, 30?
I played till I was 35, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 31, which I still felt was quite young. I suppose, and
you were hungry for more, like.
Yeah, and but the flip side then is I was able to give the club then 3 or 4 very good years. We were still Division 1, and we got to a semi-final of the County Championship 2012. So I was able to, I felt I played well for 3 or 4 years in the County Championship and gave them a few good years back, because you missed a few years of them because you were with Kerry for a few years and things like that. But I remember being at
what year was it, Franny, that you finished with Kerry?
It was the middle of 2009, and look, I won't go into details now, but I suppose it still sticks in my craw, really.
You thought you had,
And I was up the 2011 All Ireland, and I'm looking at, and I felt, I still think Kerry missed a trick here. I think I could be offering something off the bench. But look, it is what it is. And you look back, you were there from your 19 till you're 31, so you can't, be too greedy. You won 4 All Ireland medals, but I suppose your cap was pulled on a few small bit, and you feel, no, there's definitely 2 or 3 years more here. But look, still had great times, and wouldn't regret it for the world. But it's still a thing I haven't got over,
Yeah.
Of that team, of that 2000, the year noughties team, I was probably the one fellow who didn't get to say my goodbyes, but but look, that's football, I'm not here to cry,
I know, I went out and I lost as well. I saw, who was it? went out at the top. Shamo went out at the top. It was like Brian O'Driscoll that time when he went out at the top. It
Yeah,
was nice to go
Dara.
out at the
Yeah,
top. It was nice to
that
go out
doesn't have it.
your
It's
own
very hard to
terms.
do that too, you know.
Yeah, very hard.
But as I said, the flip side, I probably played my best club football for 2 or 3 years then with the club. So there was a flip side to too, that kind
Yeah.
of way.
The managers that you've gone through, you mentioned John Evans, you mentioned Paddy. The managers, did any of them have a right impact on on yourself that made you feel different about football, Franny? Or was it didn't matter to you who was managing, you'd still do it whatever way?
I suppose I always loved football. I loved it. I love reading about it. I love playing it. I love watching it. But maybe sometimes I became too consumed with it, and maybe didn't enjoy the wins enough too, because you're wondering about the next game. But when you look back at it now, uh, um, you maybe saying maybe I should have enjoyed it a bit more, the wins or whatever. Look, I wasn't a big. I didn't drink or smoke. My dad drank a lot when I was young, and he would have been Paddy's vintage, and
Yeah,
he often used to say to me that the wire got a set in him. He
yeah,
wasn't a big fellas who were drinking, so not big into no, but he was still fond of it, and he'd often say to me, "Stay away from the pubs." And I probably went too far with it by drinking nothing. I was
yeah.
afraid that I wouldn't make it, but yeah, probably good advice, but that probably drove me a bit too, things like that.
You
But you're
still
going back.
on nights out, Franny, you still enjoy it. Like I remember when we were abroad on some holiday trip, there was a fire extinguisher incident, and I think you got the blame. And
Is
then
that
the
your
house,
story now or mine? Yeah, there's a lot of different stories about that.
can you shed any light on the fact that you were spotted at 3 o'clock in the morning up in some hotel lobby firing
I think I was
releasing
trying to
a
stop
fire
it being falling.
extinguisher? Or if you didn't do it, did you see who did, Franny? No.
There were so many bodies around the place, but that's another thing too. There was great times. We got great trips out of it and great holidays and great fun.
Yeah.
I didn't take alcohol, but I'd still be falling down laughing and see what was going on. you know but
Like you
but
think
go
about the characters in that team. You had Liam
yeah,
Hassett, your own club
great
mate. You had
characters. Yeah,
Dara.
Seamus.
Shamo was as good
Yeah.
as anybody with the crack. And
Yeah,
I was
but I
I was
think top
discussing it.
level football, you needed that because, just to break it's just look, it was serious business, and just a small bit of fun, just to release a bit of tension is needed too.
Yeah, I was
Um,
discussing it today, Franny, right? You look at the condensed championship, the condensed nature of the championship. So you're playing basically every 2 weeks, right? There's no
yeah, it's
way
crazy,
fellas
crazy.
are going to go out and have that. If we played Cork, right, you hopefully win it, you lose, whatever, but at least you got a
You
release,
can't even you
right?
can't even take it in.
No, you got 2 or 3 days to kind of chill out. I'm not saying you had to go out. I'm not saying you had to, but you could just chill out and enjoy it. And
Mm,
the lads, more often than not, would go out, and we'd go out in bulk, and we'd have a right good crack
yeah,
around the
and
country or whatever. And
the,
the same zoning in on fellas for what they were doing wasn't there. It was enjoyable, like, wasn't it?
it was, and you trained so hard, and there has to be some bit of release, and then there was probably 3 or 4 weeks between the next game, but that's not there at the moment. But I'd worry then, like with say the young lads 2021 in county panels now, will they stick it for 3 or 4 years and then just their valve will go and they just have to go off traveling for a year because it's so probably pressurized.
Yeah.
Um, it's there's a lot of football, and I haven't even talked about social media or anything at the moment. I'm not on social media, but
Geez,
I
thanks be
would
to
hate
God,
I
mate, that
I would hate
social
that
media
side of it
wasn't
now.
there when we were there.
I know, especially in the holidays. Um, I remember coming home from training one night, and we were driving through Killarney, and I got a bag of flour in the window to me, and there was a car chase out to Tralee. I mean, now if the phones were there, we'd be probably arrested, thrown off the panel, and it'd be all over the paper. So thank God there wasn't.
I
But
remember there was a
no,
period of time.
no, they wouldn't do it because there's phones everywhere.
Yeah, there was a period of time there. This is grown men, by the way, grown men. We
Grown
were
men.
driving down the middle of Killarney. We were driving down the middle of Killarney, and Eamon Breen and Liam Farty.
Yeah.
Liam Farty had an Audi A4, and Breen was out the sunroof, and William Kirby was driving down the other direction with Barry O'Shea. And
I think that ended up in Listowel, I think, did it?
Kirby caught Breen in the middle of the chest with an egg from about 50 yards. It was like a fella's shot.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that was a
great times,
crazy
yeah.
day.
But yeah, unfortunately, the smartphones now we'd be thrown off the panel. But going back to the managers, party there, you mentioned like some great men there, John Evans, all these guys. But look, I know I'm mentioning him, but your great uncle Paddy, God rest him, I swear he gave me my first Kerry jersey, and he believed in me, and I think um. I think he picked me for every championship game. So look, I suppose yeah, I got on well with him. But every manager was different. They all bring different things. John
Yeah,
Evans was going well with us at the time at Low Rangers, and maybe unlucky at one stage, maybe not to get a cut of the Kerry job. But you
yeah,
know, Kerry job is a hard job to get. Obviously, you have to be, it's not every fella's going to be given the mantles. But John went on then and trained county teams, but he was ahead of his time too. He dabbled in a small bit of sports psychology. It's a funny story actually. I think it was it 2003 he beat us the county final, but he had us for 3 or 4 years that time, and I think was it 04 was it? We were playing Crokes in the semi final, and oh no, John was gone that year, so new manager came in, Shane. So he just brought in John just to have a chat with us, and John said, "Turn off the lights now," and I said, "Oh Jesus!" And I suppose for some of the younger lads, it was new. Like he was trying, I knew what he was trying to do. I was a seasoned county player at the time, but I knew what John was trying to do. He was trying to see where their heads are at now, and he just turned around to Shane Sullivan, the manager. He said, "No, they're not ready, Shane." So he came back the following week, and he said, "If you beat Dr. Crokes, what would you be doing? What would you celebrate?" So a few lads, "Yay, wow, up the boy, oh, good stuff." And he turned around again and he said, "No, they're not ready." We weren't aggressive, shouting and roaring
yeah,
properly. So
yeah,
he came back the third time, and I goes, "Oh Lord God!" And he brought us into a small room. Then he turned off the lights, and of course there was a few giggles. And John, in fairness, was doing his best. In fairness, he's a fierce, passionate man. So one of our players in it, he said, "What would you do?" And there was actually slabs. It was a small enough height ceiling, and he jumped and drove his foot up through the slab. God, and he hit the lights back on at this stage, and he came to me. And I said, I better make be a bit more aggressive here now or something, because he was watching us this time. And I drove her up, but didn't I hit a steel thing in the ceiling? And I was an egg, and I burst something. And I actually played that game. My hand was all swollen and everything. But, but I was just thinking the managers there. But yeah, they were all different though. But
yeah.
you know,
But
you're dabbling in a bit of sports psychology there and stuff as well.
yeah,
That's become big into the game now and stuff. And
they all probably dabbled in it at the time, though, Franny, didn't they? Paddy dabbled in it a good bit. He
yeah, I
didn't
think you couldn't have
possibly know.
met a better sports psychologist than Paddy.
But Cody, you could see it in Cody, and Cody's often former players, often say the mind games Cody would have with you, and it
Absolutely.
is part of
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
what you see, you're going to stay involved in football. You obviously haven't picked up the golf clubs yet. You're going to stay involved
No.
in football, Franny, will you?
Yeah, as I said, I've been a manager of the minor team now, and but I probably prefer the coaching side of it, Tomas.
Yeah,
I did 3 years then with the Kerry South. Funny, I say it was in 14 or 15. That would have been year. Some of those lads were playing with you this year, the Will Shines and
yeah,
Luke Crowley's good young lads now, you know. Um, but yeah, lads who there's some bright, good talent there now, So
yeah,
uh, in the following year, you don't Hassan, Dylan Roach, and a few lads. But I think you learn down there as well. And look, I've made mistakes, of course, but I wanted to kind of do it before you maybe jump into a senior job, with
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
hopefully with my senior club in Low Rangers someday. But yeah, still involved, and I'm involved with the under 7 boys and my own young lad and the under 10 girls. So kept busy now, yeah. And
That's the way
I'm
to do it.
still trying to play a bit of B football. I have a game tomorrow night with the Bees, senior
Jesus
B. So
Christ, Franny, you're 40. Are you 46 now?
45, I'll be 46 this year now. So
And you're
there's only
still
every
playing with the bees?
senior B now tomorrow night. I didn't get sent yet.
Or where are you playing? Corner forward?
It was full forward last night, but I'm trying to. Eric keeps me fit, But look, not as serious as it was, obviously, But
You still have the left and right pegs.
I don't know. I was stiff after the last game, But they're all coming into the dressing room now with fades and phones, and it's like a generation gap.
Do you still get a buzz after burying a ball in the back of the net? You do?
Yeah, you would. I mean, look, even just that, I suppose, look, nothing will replace playing, Tomas, you
Yeah.
know. What age you play with Neem up till? Was it 36 or 7, was it?
39, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's hard to replace, but look, it is going to come, you know, but I suppose the next big thing is the coaching, but love watching the games too, but look, the game has changed. If I miss the game now, I'm not saying, oh God, because it's, you know, it's coming nearly, you know.
Yeah.
But looking forward to going to the minor again now tomorrow night in Tralee. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that'll
There's some
be, you
good
know,
players coming with the minors as well. Yeah, it is good to
yeah,
see. Before I leave you go, Franny,
yeah.
and if you had to pick a winner for this year out of the whole country, who'd you pick right now?
Right now, probably Galway. You know, I mean, look, if you look up to the 6 minute last year, that free that some might have argued it wasn't a free, and it was a hard free too by Clifford. They were thereabouts, but Mayor showing promise. Hard to know with Kerry and Dublin at the moment, you know, but I wouldn't rule out Tyrone. But if you're at the moment, maybe you would say Galway are front runner. But it seems very open, doesn't it?
It's
Like
very open.
it,
Like, there's
you
nobody.
know, maybe with the extra games, people are using their panel and know they're going to be in a quarter final, or they're trying to time their run, or you
There's a
know,
good bit to go yet, though. There's a good bit. Like you have 2 or 3 matches in the thing, and then you have preliminary quarter final, and you have quarter
an
final,
extra
semi
game,
final.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
And
long way.
it's probably set up better to suit the big panels,
Yeah.
you know, because there is going to be injuries and stuff like that. But Kerry and Cork game now will be interesting the weekend. I'll be interested to see what Cork will do. Will they, you know, will they shut up shop up there, or will they, you know, go at Kerry?
They probably shut up shop.
But
That's the way they'll go.
you'll be there, Tomas, and yeah.
I love to be, but I'm going back. I'm going back working with RT, and there's first fitting
Okay.
place they're sending me is back up to Healy Park in Tyrone.
Oh, it's Saturday evening.
Yeah,
Saturday evening, yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, of all places to go, Franny.
But yeah,
We'll
that'll
have
be a
good
cracking
crack up
game.
there.
But I suppose just being involved with young lads there, Tomas, like you probably seen this year, like the phones, you put out the messages for training, and I suppose look, the phones, look, they're here, they're the bane of our life. The young lads ran them the whole time, so you'd say met training at 8 o'clock, and Sean he'd say no, and then Mike he'd say, oh well, if Sean's not going, I'm putting the thumbs down. It's whereas training should be everyone. It's an excuse. It's kind of the WhatsApp. It's great for giving a notification,
Yeah.
but are we hiding behind it like sheep sometimes? And well, the next night then, well, oh, Shawnee's going, so Mikey'll go, So
Do you ever give him a rollicking about this, Franny? Do you talk to him and you say, wake up a small bit now and stop
yeah,
following your
yeah,
sheep?
it was a bit of a bugbear, right? But they're good young lads too, but they can be innocent on the phone. But I think sometimes it's easy just to hide behind. Whereas if I'm saying, look, I know we played football at a different time, and I'm saying, well, we were dinosaurs here now talking about the past. But when training was there, you had to actually, if you had an excuse, you had to ring up and tell him whatever you were sick, or if you weren't
And
there. But
it want
now
to be a
it's too,
fairly
now,
good
now
excuse.
it's too easy just to go like this, you know.
It is. But we didn't. Like, if I missed training, I'd have the brothers onto me. Where the hell were
Yeah,
you?
yeah, one
It
thing
just
to know.
didn't happen,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah,
Um,
but I suppose,
and
look,
now, even if you were inside, fellas, to get their physio, Peter O'Leary, did you ever see a man up on top of a table as often?
Peter O'Leary. Oh, yeah, yeah, and he would tell you as well.
Yeah.
But no, but yeah, you lose touch with fellas now. As I said, you don't meet fellas as often, which is a pity, But you might meet
Yeah.
them at games and stuff. But for lads you were kind of living with for
I
15 or
know, yeah.
16 years, But yeah, but no, it was nice. We'll have a few reunions coming up anyway. Touch wood.
Hopefully. Listen, thanks to Mike Frank.
Thanks, Tomas.
Absolutely brilliant. We start our season 4 with a brilliant guest in Mike Frank. It's an association with EIRGRID. EIRGRID has been a proud partner of the GA since 2015, and we're delighted that they've brought us back for another season. You can listen to all the episodes across all the podcast channels and the YouTube. The link is in the bio, and to listen or to watch. Nihal Princhis, Karamila Mahagat, and
Thanks,
we will
Tomas.
touch base soon, all right?
Slán, thanks, guys.
Thanks a
Thanks,
million.
Tomas.
Thanks a million.
Come on.
Thanks again to our sponsor EIRGRID, proud supporters of the EIRGRID Under-20 All-Ireland Football Championship and leaders in Ireland's pursuit of a cleaner energy future. Don't forget to follow, subscribe and review. Go to Míle Maithagad.